Hello my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach and welcome to my crochet channel and welcome also to another edition of This or That or maybe the other thing. So what we do on our This or That videos is sometimes I ask you a question between two things, or it might just be an explanation between two things. I give you the opportunity to answer the questions down in the comment section underneath. And please do comment. Like I've said 100 times at least, I do love reading your comments and I try to read every single one of them. And there are no wrong answers. It just is a way for us to get together and kind of talk and give your opinions about certain things, and then we can learn from each other. I have learned a lot from all of you, and I hope that you have learned a lot as well. And we can learn from other people's comments, things that maybe we hadn't even thought of. And it's really fun. It's like a little community conversation. All right, so what we're talking about today is adding a crochet trim to fabric. There are actually many different ways that you can add crochet trim to fabric. You can make lace, crochet lace, and sew it on with a machine or by hand. You can also make a blanket stitch and then crochet in those blanket stitches. And you can also use a pointed instrument and make holes in your fabric and add your crochet trim that way. I'm going to show you a couple of samples here in just a minute, but I want you to really think about this because there are reasons that we do it a certain way. And I've always done it one way, and then I learned a new way, and then I thought, oh, I like that way too. And then I tried another way, and I'm like, I like that way too. And so it really just depends on the fabric and the yarn. All right, let me show you a couple of samples. So here's a couple of towels that I had on hand, and I did one of them into a hanging towel. And this is going to be a video coming up shortly in a couple of weeks as soon as we get all, it all worked out. But this one, you can see we did the crochet stitches right into the fabric. And all I did is I took my pointy scissors, I measured out the holes, and I did it according to the stripes on this one. But you can use a measuring tape and measure it out. And when I do the video, I'm going to show you all of that. I just wanted you to see how interesting it looks when we just make little holes and then we just crochet right into those holes. And I did the same thing at the top in adding the topper. Okay, it's a really simple, basic topper and trim. All right, now this one is how I've always done it in the past. This is where we do the blanket stitches, and that's what these lines are. And then we crochet in those loops that are made by the blanket stitches. I do have a video on this, and I'll put that video where I added it onto a flannel blanket for my dogs at Christmas a couple years ago. They still lay on those blankets. See, here is one of the blankets that I made. These are a couple of years old. I want to say 3 or 4. And we did our blanket stitches closer together. And then I did 2 rows of crochet for a nice little shell stitch edge around the blanket. And this is a great thing that you can do if you have flannel or this is fleece. It's a thin fleece. And you can even do this technique, say around a quilt or any kind of fabric like cotton fabric, polyester fabric. It works really nice. And again, you just measure it, make those blanket stitches, and add the trim. And I'll put the link to this blanket that I did down in the notes under this video so that you can find it and look at how that is done. Okay, and then we can be looking for this one. How I did this one. I'll be doing a video on this one. And then I also have a video. Remember the dress I showed you a couple of weeks ago where I added the trim at the bottom and I used my sewing machine after making lace? I'm going to do a video on that as well. So these are some videos that are going to be coming soon. So there are lots of different techniques in adding crochet trim to different items. You can add crochet trim to the edges of your sleeves, the top of your blouse. You can add it to the bottom of a dress or a blouse. Say you have a blouse and you want to just add a little extra pizzazz, you can put a crochet trim, maybe add some beads. You know, you can do a lot with that. Okay, and so here we've got basically 3 different types of adding crochet trim to an item. We have the old-fashioned blanket stitch, which is my favorite, and I've done it that way for years. Again, there is a video. I'm going to put that link to that underneath this video. Then we have the one where you make the holes. You can use a pair of scissors or something sharp to measure out and poke your holes. There's also a wheel that has holes that you can roll across, and it will make the holes already measured out for you. Okay, and then of course that last type where you make the crochet lace and then just sew it on with your machine or by hand. All right, so again, I'm going to be doing a video on how to do this style in a couple of weeks. This is the demo for that. We're going to be making it like this. Okay, and then we also have a video coming with the dress that I showed you a couple weeks ago. We made what I call a modesty triangle and sewed that in, and then we added trim along the bottom. Okay, and so those videos will be coming out. I wanted to wait until after Christmas in July, because this is going to be kind of a series where we're going to be doing 3 different things with 3 different videos, and we're going to be doing these on our Friday Fun Days. Okay, so be looking for those after July, probably in September. Okay, but just remember, you can add a crochet trim to just about anything. Towels, curtains, tablecloths, blankets, clothing, anything that's made out of fabric, and it can be any kind of fabric of any kind. You've seen those crochet trims on pillowcases, things like that. And you can take just a basic t-shirt or a basic t-shirt dress or just a basic skirt or something that's just basic and turn it into something fabulous by adding a beautiful crochet trim. And of course, beads are fun too. I love beads. All right, let's get down to our question. Have you tried any of these techniques? Have you tried the blanket stitch and crochet, or where you poke a hole and crochet right into the fabric, or maybe made lace and sewn it onto something? I'm really interested in your opinion on which you would like to try, which you have tried, and your opinion on the results that you got. And so that's our this or that or the other thing question for today. All right. So thank you for being with me. Be looking forward to a couple of new videos on this subject. They're coming probably in September. And so that's our question for today. All righty. Well, we'll see you next time for another edition of this or that or the other thing.